Greetings, curious acolytes of the Force, and welcome back to the channel. Kyber crystals, which power the titular weapons of the Jedi and Sith, are one of the most significant things that a Force wielder can own. Even back in the old days, before the time of the lightsaber, the ancient Force users known as the Jedi Order would actually imbue their metal swords with Kyber crystals in order to help the alchemical process when channeling the Force through them, strengthening their weapon. These crystals were incredibly important, as they were actually alive within the Force itself, and could connect the Force wielder who owned it, connecting the crystal, the Force wielder, and the Force itself. As you are all well aware, Kyber crystals all come in many different forms and colors, with each color varying its own message about the one who wielded it within their own saber. Since Force users, especially Jedi, very much allowed their Kyber crystals to be part of themselves as they grew closer over the course of their career. Of course, on this channel, we have covered the various colors of lightsabers before. However, we always want to ensure that our archives are up to date and have the most current information available. So without further ado, let's go ahead and break down every single canon lightsaber color that we currently know of in Star Wars lore. So sit back, relax as we open up another holocron. Later on, if you would like to see a video detailing all of the non-canon Legends lightsaber colors that we know about, be sure to force crush that like and subscribe button and request it down below. Now, students of the Force, let us begin. The first color we will have to discuss is the coloration of blue. Being one of the most common lightsaber colors along with green, blue is most widely recognized of the colors among the citizens of the galaxy for a Jedi, and for good reason. Blue was usually the color of a Jedi Guardian, the Jedi who were always traveling and involved with the various citizens of the galaxy. Many Jedi Guardians wielded blue lightsabers and were often on the front lines of combat, and therefore saw far more action with their lightsaber than most any other type of Jedi. In a sense, the blue blade signified a Jedi who decided to use the Force on a more physical level. Not always Force combat though, this could also mean it was someone who solves problems far more head-on and direct. For a Jedi, blue meant the color of courage, strength, and creativity within the light side of the Force. This courage though, could also lead those that have blue lightsabers into a place of stubbornness and being rather headstrong, as seen by the likes of Anakin. But it is this trait that keeps them remaining rooted in their bravery that exemplifies what it truly means to have a blue lightsaber and be a Jedi Guardian. As you know, the most notable wielders that follow these traits well would be Anakin Skywalker, as we mentioned before, and Obi-Wan Kenobi. This courage, compassion, and willingness to dive straight into conflict for the betterment of the galaxy was why they were the perfect users of this blue crystal. This of course is not to say that a Jedi Guardian didn't have green lightsabers in their possession though, or that Jedi Consulars didn't ever wield blue lightsabers. The colors were merely an indication of the Jedi's deeper heart, and were often interchangeable amongst the Jedi factions. Even the most book-centric Jedi of them all, being the Jedi librarian Jocasta Nu, wielded a blue lightsaber. And with Jocasta, we actually get to see why in the Vader comic book series, as Jocasta is ready and willing to brandish her blue lightsaber against Vader and the Grand Inquisitor when it came to them disrespecting the Jedi archives, despite her admitting to barely even have ever touched her lightsaber before. The next color is green. The second of the most common colors, green, is the color of a Jedi Consular. A green lightsaber indicated those who were exceptionally in tune with the Force around them, and had a good handle on their thoughts and emotions. Those who wielded green lightsabers were very often wise, and saw deeper answers within the Force rather than just accepting what they were told. They are insightful, and choose to reflect upon the Force within themselves, and to delve into its many secrets, in order to gain a closer understanding on the greater mystery and fight of the dark side in its heart. Those who use green lightsabers typically express the Force in its more ethereal form, developing their abilities beyond the physical realm. It is very often that those with green Kyber crystals have the finest scholars in the Order, and have even pioneered entirely new ways to use the Force. Notable users of this color are Master Yoda, Qui-Gon Jinn, and Kit Fisto. Yoda needs no explanation, but despite both Qui-Gon and Kit Fisto being Jedi Guardians, each Jedi has been able to lay claim to some of the most significant discoveries that changed their order as they knew it. Kit Fisto, for instance, is known for being an excellent problem solver. Rather than cut straight through a challenge, he examines it like a puzzle, and if he doesn't find a piece that fits, he simply makes one. One of the biggest examples of this is the fact that Kit Fisto pioneered the technology for waterproofing lightsabers, and made it a widespread practice among the Jedi Order. Qui-Gon, while being very headstrong and physically inclined like a blue-bladed Guardian would be, he actually had more of an affinity for the deeper side of the Force, as he was more drawn to studying prophecies, and only acting as the will of the living Force directed him to do so rather than the larger Jedi, making him essentially one of the perfect Jedi consulars with a hint of Guardian. Moving on to the third most common lightsaber color, we have red, the indicator of the Sith. You would be hard-pressed to find many Sith who did not wield this signature crimson blade, the color of hate, anger, and all things pertaining to the dark side. In Legends though, the Sith during the Empire of Exar Kun's reign were mostly comprised of fallen Jedi who simply didn't take the time to make red crystals and rather decided to keep their Jedi weapons for the coming war. And yes, you heard me correctly, even in Legends, Sith red crystals had to be made as they couldn't be found organically very often at all, although they did exist in some far reaches of the galaxy. There are two explanations for how red crystals are made, a Legends continuity explanation and a canon one. In Legends continuity, red crystals were made synthetically using Sith alchemy, and were then mass-produced in great quantities. By the time of the Brotherhood of Darkness, just before Darth Bane, red crystals were more or less produced on a make line, and were divided out among Sith acolytes to use as they pleased. They were believed to be much stronger than organic crystals, and thought to even have the ability to break a Jedi's lightsaber. However, there are very few reliable records of this ever happening, and even Darth Sidious found this to be a useless feature, stating that a true Sith should be able to kill a Jedi within minutes anyway. The canon way that red crystals are made is through a fascinating process referred to as bleeding. This process involved the Sith taking a crystal from a dead Jedi, and yes, for this process to have optimal outcomes, the Sith needed to kill the Jedi themselves. They would then take the crystal and meditate upon it, pulling all of their anger, suffering, and pain within it. Because the Kyber crystals are alive in the Force, that meant that they could bleed. By doing this horrific process, the Sith would wound the crystal and it would turn a bright red, successfully being bled. This process was dangerous, however, as Kyber crystals were a volatile substance and could explode if not executed properly. Furthermore, the crystals will attempt to resist the bleeding by probing the mind of the Sith and flooding them with compassion and visions of their purest desires. The Sith must reject these notions of peace and embrace pain in order to complete this dangerous ritual. There have been conflicting accounts in canon of some Sith allegedly using synthetic crystals though, but bleeding is the primary method of producing a red, crimson lightsaber blade. Next up is amethyst and purple. The amethyst blade is one of the rarest lightsaber colors that is commonly perceived by many to indicate one's balance in the Force, a harmony between light and dark, the purple being a cross of red, and blue making it obvious that the wielder retains an understanding of the Force in all of its aspects. Another perspective, however, is that the violet blade mainly indicates someone who is rooted in the light but still understands their own personal darkness and is attempting to overcome it, or has completely overcome it. However, to think that all users of purple lightsabers use both the light and dark side of the Force would be a misconception. This would be the main case with Mace Windu, the most popular user of the amethyst blade. The crystal itself symbolizes perseverance, kind-heartedness, and a strong mental willpower. Mace Windu in Legends did not actually choose this crystal, but had it given to him as a gift by a tribe of people that he saved on the planet as a Padawan. Ever since this event, Mace Windu has always carried it with him in his lightsaber. However, in Star Wars canon, it is believed that he did in fact imprint upon it, and it is his ability to control both the light and dark side within him that makes him so powerful and results in the purple blade. Now we begin to move into the more obscure colors. Starting off, we have yellow. The meaning of the yellow lightsaber is rather vague, as George Lucas reportedly didn't want yellow lightsabers to be a thing in Star Wars at all. However, Dave Filoni begged and convinced George to allow for the Jedi Temple Guards to wield yellow saber pikes, and George acquiesced. It is guessed by a few to symbolize optimism in the face of danger, and is primarily almost exclusively used by Jedi Sentinels. The Sentinels actually don't acquire these crystals organically for themselves, but rather inherit their lightsabers from their master. The Sentinels have an entirely different way and organization than the other two factions of the Jedi Order and the Consulars and Guardians, probably because of their unique duties and because their duties are so different. the Jedi Sentinels combine their knowledge of the Force, powerful blade work, with more street-smart technological skills. They are known for usually setting up on certain sectors of the galaxy and watching over them while blending into the galaxy and populace at large. Sentinels actually had a sect of their own order known as the Jedi Shadows, who were basically a covert order of assassins that had only one job: to hunt down and exterminate all trace of the dark side, whether that be a person or an artifact. This, of course, was somewhat controversial amongst the High Council of the Jedi, so in the meantime, the Jedi Sentinels' talents were wasted on temple guards. In canon, other notable users of the yellow blade are Asajj Ventress, who bought her lightsaber off of the black market. What's unique about this, though, is I personally theorize that the Jedi Sentinels and Jedi in general have lost their ability to create a yellow lightsaber blade by imprinting upon it, and that is why the Jedi Temple Guards do not actually create their yellow crystals, but instead it is handed down, and when one officially becomes a Temple Guard, they inherit this yellow lightsaber. The reason I draw this conclusion is we know that in the High Republic era, Jedi did in fact imprint upon crystals that resulted in a yellow coloration, but at no point during the Clone Wars era do we ever see this, meaning that Jedi philosophy, doctrine, and dogma has changed so much that they are likely no longer capable of producing a yellow blade. Up next, we have white or silver, a curious and particularly special color to see. White can only be achieved by those who have taken a bleeded crystal and reversed its effects back to the light, healing the kyber crystal with love, peace, and serenity. This makes the crystal turn white and produces a silver coloration. Very few Jedi have this color, which includes the likes of Ahsoka Tano in the Rebels era, as she had healed the lightsaber crystals from the sixth brother Inquisitor, and the Jedi Terra Sanube, whose white lightsaber is currently a mystery, but in my opinion, hints at an exciting past. The next color is the newest addition to Star Wars canon, that being orange. Orange may just be the most mysterious color of them all, and we have very little explanation given to us in Legends or canon. However, they do now officially exist in Star Wars canon. The only wielders that can be cited are Kyle Katarn in Legends, Cal Kestis, Yaddle, and in some depictions, Plo Koon. From Legends' Kyle Katarn, we can gather that orange perhaps means that the user has struck a delicate balance between the light and dark side of the Force. However, from Yaddle, this mostly blows that theory out of the water, as she was one of the most powerful light side users solely to ever live, mastering powerful abilities such as Force Light and Morchiro, abilities that have only been seen otherwise used by Grand Master Luke Skywalker. This may tell us that orange could indicate that those who have an extraordinary sense of compassion for those around them. This fits better with the model of Yaddle, Cal, and Plo Koon. It should also be stated that it is theorized that in Star Wars canon, orange is actually a weaker lightsaber color and does not produce a powerful enough blade, which is why orange is not a color that is often imprinted upon. To add even more on this, there is a theory that an orange lightsaber crystal is not actually able to be imprinted upon at all, or that orange is not the color that results from the imprinting process, and that the orange kyber crystal must be found on very specific worlds. But again, this is currently just speculation among the fan base. The final few lightsaber crystals are mainly obscure and only found in a few places. These are the cayenne, pink, and indigo crystals. To begin with cayenne, this indicates an individual who is very formidable in the light side of the Force. Those who wield cayenne lightsabers signify to all darksiders around them that they are ready and willing for any fight. Almost every cayenne lightsaber wielder is a user of Form 5 to Gem So. Indigo lightsaber crystals may signify calmness, wisdom, and intuition, and is only ever seen in Jedi Fallen Order. Pink crystals, also known as Seeker crystals, are most likely even more mysterious than orange. When ignited, a blade produced by a Seeker crystal attuned to the Force user allowed them to sense danger from other beings hidden nearby, although it could not be used as a compass to find the origin of the danger. This essentially enhanced their danger senses and increased their intuition beyond what is normally possible for even a Force wielder. The origins of the pink crystal are not known, but are rumored to have come from the unknown regions of space. And the final one that we will mention today is of course the Mandalorian black crystal, which conceived the Darksaber. What's unique about the details of the construction of the Darksaber is that it is of course the only one of its kind. The Darksaber also possesses qualities that are unique solely to it, such as crackling electricity that reflects the emotional state of the wielder. The blade is also much shorter and is differently shaped. producing a different sound entirely. The Darksaber is also said to pull from all light within any given space, powering the blade. The Darksaber at this time also appears to also have the strongest will of any lightsaber crystal, being able to openly accept or reject any wielder of it. And we speculate here on the channel that the Mandalorian Darksaber represents honor as well as duty. But anyway, my friends and students of the Force, what did you think about these lightsaber crystals as covered today? Let us know your favorite lightsaber crystal color and what lightsaber coloration would you choose. If you finished till the end, thank you so much for watching, and as always, my friends, may the Force be with you, and I will hopefully see you in another video.